When you think about following up as a sales professional, it's something that we need to do. However, we don't always do what we know we're supposed to do. And in this episode, I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can do to follow up and to be effective at it. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I'm in a unique situation. I am thousands of miles away from where I typically am. I'm actually in Croatia right now at an amazing conference. And over the next several weeks, I'm going to share some of the videos. I got a chance to sit down with some business owners, some sales leaders, and individual contributors and hear what are they doing and what are some of the challenges that they're facing when it comes to selling, and make some, we actually have some really cool coaching situations, and these things apply to you. In today's episode, we're going to talk specifically about follow-up, and I'm going to give you some ideas about that. We have a series that we're continuing, my 6-part series, that's going to help you on so many different fundamental topics. Not only did I learn this here at this conference, but also from getting questions and insights from you all on a regular basis. How can we make sure we're still doing the fundamentals? And I'm going to give you that over the next 6 to 7 episodes. I think we have did we do 6 or 7? We're doing this, it's a 6-part series, I believe. So in this first episode, we're going to talk about follow-up. But if this is your first time listening to the podcast, I want you to be aware and know that this show is designed to help you to do 2 things. 1, we want to help you to build pipeline. And 2, we want to help you to be able to close deals, accelerate that closing, your velocity and the rate, improving the closing rate that you have. And all of our episodes tie back to that. And today's ones, particularly around follow-up, is going to tie about increasing that deal velocity. So let's go back in and just help you understand some basic things. When I say follow-up, I'm talking about reconnecting with that particular prospect. Oftentimes, we find that the studies have shown, many different studies, that it comes anywhere between 5 to 8 follow-up or touches, and sometimes up to 12 touch point with a particular prospect before they actually sign or decide to do business with you. If that is the case, it's important that you're connecting with them on a regular basis. But I know what you're saying, because what's going to happen is that it gets awkward. If I'm going to just say following up and sending an email to you over or calling you, I'm going to annoy you, and that's not cool. That's not fun, and you're not going to like it. And that's not what I'm telling you to do. I want to give you some ideas today, and they're going to be short episodes, so you can get some quick tips and some ideas that you can take and apply. The first thing I want you to do when you do this, we've had guests on that talk about it. I want you to, and we set an agenda when we train our sales team and when we train the teams that we work with. You set an agenda at the beginning of that conversation, what's going to happen, and also give them the expectation. I can't get mad at you for doing something that I didn't tell you that you're supposed to do, or it is basically the rules. Imagine if we're playing basketball and you don't know the rule for basketball, and then we get on a court and I'm expecting you, when you dribble out of bounds or you're double dribbling, that you should know that stuff and get mad at you. That's silly. We can't do that. So we got to spell the rules out and pretend, even if they do know the rules, understand you play basketball and I play basketball, there's NCAA rules, and then you have the NBA rules. And some of them are a little bit different. For the most part, they're the same, but we got to be on the same page. So what I would love to tell you at the beginning of the conversation with that prospect, let them know this is what you're going to cover. Here's the agenda. We're going to be tackling X. We're going to, get a chance to learn about your what you're looking for. We're going to tell you a little bit more about our services. And the last 5 minutes, we're going to determine a next step and what we should do. So now the prospect, in her mind, knows exactly what's going to happen. They know the agenda. So we get to the last end of the end of the conversation. What's going to happen is that you ran over your time slot, and they ran over, or they have to go, and they're like, Donald, send me some information. And you're going to say, okay, great. Or they might say, just follow up with me in 2 weeks. And then you're going to say, fantastic. And you're going to be all excited thinking like this is going someplace. But in actuality, it's not going anywhere, because that prospect, they got life. And they're going to be busy, and they're not going to be able to follow. When you do follow up, you're going to go into this endless pit. So the first thing I would tell you, 1, set the agenda. Number 2, I want you then, once you get to that point of the conversation, the last 3 minutes or 5 minutes, however time you designate, you should have some ideas of next step that you should have. So 1, you can say we did a discovery call. there's probably a proposal that we need to look at. I do proposal reviews. So we set a specific date and time for that proposal review. Even if it's a 5-minute thing, you give them that specific date and time, and then you book that right then and there. Pull up your calendar. You could just put, if you're using G Suite, when you pull up your calendar, it automatically recognizes maybe the email or maybe the current meeting or whatnot, and just make another meeting really quick. I know you get tempted, just send them your link and have them book appointment, but why give a barrier? Why put a hurdle or something that is a natural objection or a natural obstacle between you and the deal closing faster? So set that specific date and time, send it over real quick to get them to accept it, and then you can doctor it up and make it nice and pretty. Maybe you put the actual link in there, and then you fix the title of the meeting or whatnot. But you have that. Number two, maybe there are particular people that you need to bring into the process with them. So you can always schedule as a base, you should always schedule the next interaction. But then too, if there's other people that you need to bring involved in that next meeting, get from them. They might say, well, I'm going to bring my IT guy in or my, operations ops manager. Like, yes, that's cool and all, but get from them those individuals so you can add them to the calendar invite. So the way I do this, I'll say, great, I'll go ahead and add them. So you speak as if. I'll go ahead and add them to the calendar invite. What's the first name? Is it just like yours, Donald at abc.com or Jeffries at abc.com? Whatever it is, but you get that and you just start acting as if with them, and that's an effective way to be able to get them to get the other people involved. Now, there's some things that you're going to need to do they're going to need to do outside of it, but that follow-up is critical. If you don't have that next step schedule, it's going to be the endless follow-up loop. So that's the very first thing that I would tell you. The next component when it comes to follow-up is, how do I do this? What are some of the ways? For the love of everything that's holy, for the love of everything that's precious, like, please do not send those dumb email just following up. Like, the act of sending the email itself is a follow-up, but it just sounds so cringeworthy because everybody else does it. Instead of, let's say you didn't have the meeting or something fell through the gap. They had I don't know, they traveled to Croatia, for goodness sake, and you couldn't get a hold of them for the time where you're going to meet. Instead of sending just following up, Donald, what if you did something different and you provided something to me during that time period? Donald, I know so obviously you would send the first one. Donald, we were going to meet. I know something must have came up. Which day and time works best for you? Maybe I'm still traveling, so you didn't hear from me. And then now you might say, well, Donald doesn't like me. Most salespeople are going to give up right there. He's not responding back to me, so he's not interested. But then perhaps you go on social and you see that I posted a video on LinkedIn, or I'm posting content or engaging with some stuff. What if you were to do that then? You engage with me on that post, like, Donald, looks like an awesome event. Where exactly is this? I'm going to see your name and I'm going to be like, oh man, that's Shanika. I need to respond back to her from my previous conversation with her. I need to, I need to reconnect with her or whatnot. But that is in fact following up. Or you can bring value to me. So you might see that maybe it's something else. Like we taught in our previous conversation, we spoke about podcasting and how I love podcasting. And then, you're trying to sell me a CRM, but then you come back and you say, hey, Donald, I know we need to reconnect, or even don't bring that up, but just kind of say, Donald, I saw this article, thought you might like, or in the article, this is where you can score 2 points. The author of that article or that blog post or that post on social with the podcast is going to get really excited when you tag somebody and comment on their piece of content. So you see something from Riverside about, podcasting, effective strategies. Tag me in it and say, at Donald, thought you might like this, especially point number 4. Listening to your podcast seems like this resonates well with you. But whatever that is, now I'm gonna say, oh yes, I need to reconnect with Shanika, and that's a form of follow up. Those are some unique follow up. You're bringing value to me, and you're also giving an opportunity to be able to you're pushing me out there to get more attention. And the author of that particular piece of content is gonna be really stoked and dope, excited that you did that for them. Simple things. And then the final thing that I would tell you to do it is just to do it, is to do more of it. Most people don't follow up because they feel awkward and you're focusing too much on your personal feelings. What if they get mad? What if they don't like me? What if they're doing this? Blah, blah, blah. There should be, yeah, there could be tons of what if. But what if you don't and they go with somebody else? And that's what it comes back down to. It's just do it. They understand that this is going to happen. Your job is to be able to be a guide and to best help them. And you can be the best guide by one, telling them when you meet with them, guide them of what's going to happen. Number two, be unique and don't just say just following up. Take advantage of social and opportunities there. And then number three is just doing it and recognizing, being confident in yourself and understand your self-worth, that your job is to solve a problem for them, but don't be so worried about your feelings. Think about what impact you're going to have on that person and their business when you best help them. Hopefully this all makes sense for you. I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly. Again, Donald C. Kelly. And I would love to hear what is your biggest tip when it comes to following up? Or, best yet, make it simple for you. Which one of these three things you're going to implement? And maybe you tell me all of them. But go ahead and let me know on LinkedIn. If you want to improve your sales game, check out our mastermind. We have another one starting up in January. It's the TSC Sales Mastermind. And this is designed to go over things like this to help you to improve your sales game. You can find details by going to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. And our promotion is running until the end of the year, where it's $150 a month as opposed to the $500. And would love to have you take part in that. As always, raise your level of thinking, go out and do big things. See you on the next one.